Well, another month, Dental Growth Partner podcast, and a little bit different one this month for me, myself and Murray. It's really sort of like an update, but also how you have to sort of update your skills and not be blindfolded with doing things a certain way. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts this month?
Yeah, so we wanted to talk about how to update your strategy and how like the big companies they have key moments where they tell you that their sort of platforms are changing, and then as a practice, as a sort of marketing team, you've got to update your strategy to match in with the changes. Otherwise, you'll find that they no longer the old things aren't working as well. So
Mm.
recently we had the Google keynote speech for 2025, which they came out with their new um, approach to how things are changing and the updates with AI search. So what were your like key sort of
Well, it's just like
takeaways from that?
it's just like these big sort of data companies like Apple, and Google and Meta and all that. They release these, they have these keynote speaks, or a lot of it's new products as well. But with the AI keynote one by Google, there's some real big changes happening. They're rolling out something in America called Google AI, which is going to replace Google search. So what basically they're doing is they're going from a search company. So in other words, when you put in dentist in Surrey, for instance, nowadays you'll get a list of you get pages and pages of dentists in Surrey or golf clubs in Surrey or whatever it is. You get pages and pages of it, and depending on how good your SEO is, um,
That's how good your website is.
how good your website is, how it's set up, your keywords, all this sort of stuff. Depends on how you rank, how much traffic you get, all these sort of things, backlinks, all these sort of things determine how far up organically that you're going to rank. So if you're if a potential patient is looking for Invisalign in Surrey, for instance, or Ashton or wherever you are, you're going to rank high.
Yeah, if you got a good page or good website,
Good
good
website, good
SEO,
backlinks, good
sort of
SEO,
well made, well presented, everything like that.
so organic. So what this has done now is they're turning more from a search based bit of software to a display bit of software. So only the first three searches, again, so if you're searching for dentist in Surrey, the top three will appear. And then you'll have loads of information which they extract from your website, all the information from community pages from lots of different areas, and they put it all below for those three top searches. So they're a display company there rather than a search. So if you're an organic company, it doesn't have to be a dentist on the high street, and up till now you've relied on how good your website is and word of mouth and ranking in the top 10, or you may be number 7 or number 10 and you're still getting lots of traffic because people tend to go through and look, oh, that one, yeah, I know that one, it's on the high street, press it. Your traffic's going to fall off a cliff.
Mhm.
So what you need to do now, and it's even more imperative than it was before, is you have to have a good website. You have to have good keywords. You have to have good backlinks to, your
Other,
social media, to other groups, so like your local Facebook group that, your schools group or
industry links like
industry links, all those type of things to Invisalign, to all these backlinks. They're really going to matter. But what I took also from the keynote speech that they gave was that the things like YouTube and your social media are going to really come into it now.
yeah,
So they're going to be searching the Google bots are going to be searching YouTube for any videos, or if you've got a channel. So there's the hint: start up a YouTube channel, definitely, and they'll be extracting that information
mm.
and putting that into your display listing now. So it's imperative that that you think a bit more about SEO, start a YouTube channel, start recording like we are today, podcasts and how-tos and weekly or monthly updates, or what this person does in in the surgery, in
Yeah.
the practice. Nice bits and pieces of like, here's John, he's just coming for his Invisalign, or this is how you do composite bonding, or there's so much you can do.
So for trying to make that obviously like you're trying to portray yourself as a local expert, but they want more proof like through what they like through YouTube like video, through like
Yes,
social media,
yeah,
whereas beforehand or up till before this, like development in AI, they sort of looking at your website and looking at how many backlinks and how connected you are
Yeah.
through that mechanism. But now they've got a new mechanism
Yeah.
which is
It's
able to
even bigger.
look at stuff more in a more complex way. Look at the transcripts of all the YouTube videos, look at all this, and sort of they're working out who are the real, because Google's ultimate goal is to connect customers with information.
Yes.
They're not actually trying to, and then they're charging business for
Yeah.
advertising.
Yeah.
So they're actually they're trying to serve their customers, who are their search people, as best as possible. So they're
Yeah.
trying to just put the three best people in their area. They don't want to waste that person's time
That's it. That's exactly what they're doing.
presenting like 10, 20 options. Now they're just like, well, actually, with our information,
The
we
three best.
give you the three best locally, and that will solve that person's problem. So that's how they keep people coming back, by being the best at that. Whereas for us, it means that we've got to have a strategy update, because
Yeah.
things that were working even last year are going to fade away, and new things are going to become the sort of KPIs, the kind of things that we need to be sort of focusing on and working on, essentially. So yeah, it makes sense that they're sort of
100% makes sense, and
they
it's one of these effort equals reward.
yeah,
So in other words, the more effort, the more thought, the more into that strategy, the more you're going to reap the benefits.
yeah,
From paid search, organic search, from starting up YouTube. Again, it's a lot more work. It's lots of work, but
yeah,
it's what you want to get out of your practice, isn't it?
yeah. It's
To 10x. If you want to 10x, you've got to be doing all these things.
yeah, it's sort of saying changing the previously in dentistry you could just be an expert at fixing teeth in the chair, and that was like sort of the remit of your
Mm.
professional kind of life. Whereas actually it's becoming a bit more sophisticated than that now. If you have to do that, plus you've got to like present educational content on video, you've got to present sort of useful things. It's like,
Yeah,
but the people who can do it are going to be rewarded for it, because then you're going to be able to, it's basically you're going up a level of professional
yeah,
communication, where you're not just talking to one person, you're talking to many people, being useful to many people, and they're going to reward you for that, by making you like a local expert who's kind of willing to do that. But if you're not willing to do that, probably going to find you're going to start going down in that search engine ranking, because
yeah.
essentially they just want to reward the people who can do it.
They do. They just want to basically they want to save time for you as an end user to be able. If you search for a certain thing, that they're going to display the top three the best information,
Yeah,
of getting you quickly onto their website or to make a sale or whatever. And that's the package that they're going to be selling to advertisers. So in other words, you search for these keywords and everything like that, you will move up. You have sponsored ads and all these sort of things, but it does make sense. It's just how the world's evolving, going from like searching and having 25 different options to like searching and going, well, these are the top three based on what people are saying in communities, based on what information you've got on your YouTube, on your social media. This includes Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the different platforms. It's going to be taking all this information and going, right, these are the best three. These are the only three you really need to look at.
in terms of strategy, I think for like dentists, you've worked with obviously a number of dentists, you find that sort of transition. Some sort of want to be on camera, some people don't want to be on
Yeah,
camera.
it's,
But
it's,
probably the
it's
best thing is maybe like similar to what we're doing here, sort of conversational, like YouTube is probably a good
yeah,
place to kind of maybe anchor your kind of yourself, because you can, as dentists you're very good at talking to someone else,
mm,
because that's what you spend your life doing.
exactly, yeah,
But then you can actually, and you'd be surprised, you don't have, it's much more difficult if you're trying to follow a script. If you're just talking about knowledge-based things that you know about, it's easy to talk about, and actually then that sort of produces relevant, like expert content for your
Well,
patients,
but
for
also
like other.
what you can do as a dentist is say, okay, so every new patient that we get in, or every new Invisalign, or every new composite bonding, it'd be lovely to have like a 2 or 3 minute video of just what to expect.
Yeah,
Which you can just send to that person, which is probably not what any other dentist in your area are doing.
yeah,
As soon as they inquire about becoming a new patient, or I'm thinking about Invisalign, whatever it is. Oh, I've got a video that explains it all for you.
yeah,
And it won't be an Invisalign video. It'd be your
and
practice. It'd
yeah,
be a person person connecting,
yeah.
and that would take them further down the funnel.
And you would,
Information.
and that would like then people on your YouTube channel,
On
and
YouTube,
then
on your
that's an, and
Facebook,
that's
on your
like
Instagram,
another person visiting that,
another person visiting that.
and that's how the sort of
It,
the behind the scenes like bots and stuff, they're working out, okay, that person lives pretty close to the practice, they're watching these videos and they're
yeah,
finding them useful because they're watching them rather than
yeah,
clicking off them. And so this is how you sort of build up your, it might sound like low numbers because we're all used to watching like YouTube video, be like, oh look, 2 million views
yeah.
on that video, and
On that cat jumping
y-
off the roof and all that. Yeah.
yeah, whereas your video about sort of how, what to expect on the day of your extraction might be getting like a handful of views, but if all those are local views,
Mm.
I think the bots are going to be seeing that and be
Also,
like, that's actually custom content, and they're
but
going to be looking at all this.
but what it does also, and you testament to this is that when you just start doing all this media and posts and YouTube videos and that, it's not just that person who's interested in that, it's the whole ecosystem of the area that you will get more patients just from this media you're putting out. If you
Yeah,
stop it, your it will go down. If you start increasing it, it will go up. It's just like
yeah.
through general dentistry, through everything. I mean, you found that as well over the years.
Yeah, we in at one point it was the practice has been open or like for about 6 years now, but at one point, sort of 3 years in, sort of started to thought just through a decision, just sort of reduce the amount we were doing, and yeah,
COVID, wasn't it?
yeah, well, it's just I've got small children, and just sort of yeah, basically decided to sort of do a bit less. But
Mm,
when you do less, then you find that less activity, it doesn't
mm.
immediately you think, oh, well, it's not making that much effect, but 3 4 months later, you do notice
Yeah, the
things get
bookings aren't
things
as
getting a
much as there was.
bit lighter, and then
Yeah,
we sort of about 6 months later turned it back on, and you see the activity level pick up. So yeah, it's not all as like, obviously you can be very like meticulous in terms of, if you're running an ad campaign, you do want to be
yeah,
like measuring the clicks, you want to be measuring
yeah. Of
people
course you do. Yeah,
through a sort of funnel system and all that sort of stuff, and that's all good. But actually,
you're gonna get some peripheral business.
you
We've
get
got a lot
this,
of peripheral
yeah,
business,
and
aren't you?
particularly the patient basis you'll see locally, they might see you on an advert, but then
Yeah,
they walk in and book in with the receptionist that they
yeah,
already know or stuff like this, so that won't go down as a click through.
yeah.
So we're not entirely, because you're a physical business, you're not entirely on a click through
Mm.
system. If you were doing like online e-commerce, like selling on Amazon or something,
Yeah, you see the sales go up.
your only sales point or your only sales mechanism is through that one thing. But because you've got a front of desk where people can walk in
Mm.
or book on the phone, means that you don't necessarily know whether they clicked all the way through and booked on that online platform, but you're advertising on that one. So this is with the complexity of online
Mm.
marketing for
Yeah, it's not
dentists is
always seeable, all of it, is it?
not all, like, we'd like it all to be like really measurable. So you sign up with an
Which a
agency.
lot of it is.
Yeah, well, you sign up with an agency and you can directly see, I spent X amount of pounds and
Yeah,
it turned into X amount of profit. Basically, that's like what every business owner like wants to feel comfortable about. But there is a bit slightly bigger, I think you used the word earlier, like an ecosystem
yeah.
of like marketing for a business where you can do it's not it's not always
Mm.
100% sort of
And it
measurable.
compounds on itself as
Yeah,
well.
and when you see that, you either do it when you're doing it for a sustained amount of time, you're sort of building that noise, or it's a continuous noise, so people are aware of you. And
Yeah.
then for some reason, for the patient, they've got like something, they break a tooth chewing at the weekend, and they're like, oh, actually, I don't like that dentist, but I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And I had a good
Trust factor,
and I
isn't it? It's
heard a good story about them at a dinner party. So then they suddenly on board, but
mm,
you're never going to track that on, on a direct advertising basis, like whether they saw that particular ad, whether it was like clicked all the way through. It's like it's not like that for the
on the
type of business we're
a
in.
telltale sign if you're any business or particularly if you're in dentistry is that when you're talking to a patient who's already a patient in the chain, go, oh yeah, I saw that your advert, I saw your video, I saw
Yeah,
your
get that off.
post, saw
Yeah.
you know that it's working because they're not searching it out. It's coming to them, and that's what you want.
The good thing for us in terms of dealing with people is that it's sort of by being able to watch you quite a bit before they necessarily go forward with treatment, you kind of you're increasing that trust, and it makes your life with the dentist
Mm.
better
It is all about the trust.
because you then they feel comfortable that they know all about you before they even really
Yeah.
let you sort of do any treatment for them. So they sort of that's one of the big sort of things that previously wasn't wasn't available for
Yeah.
us in terms of like looking after people, is that they can sort of get comfortable with who they're going to see before they even see them. So that's like the sort of clinical like in-surgery
Yeah,
benefits.
but I think also with things like that is that there's a lot of people out there a lot of potential patients who are scared of the dentist, aren't they?
Yeah,
So if they're seeing you, and, "Hey, he's a nice chap," or whatever, or I like the way I like the surgery, I like the technology, I like the, I really don't want to go to the dentist, but if I'm going to go to one, I'm going to go to this guy or this lady or whatever.
yeah. I think that comes back to that point I was making earlier, that the sort of bar is just sort of, if you're willing to go there, just getting raised in terms of your level of communication.
Yeah,
So we're all kind of trained and expert at that, like in person, sitting in the chair in the clinic, communication, and like generally, if you're a dentist full time, you get very good at that.
yeah,
But then it's like the next level up is becoming, can you do this sort of video, like online communication in a sort of sustained manner that actually provides benefit to people?
yeah.
So
It's all about the strategy, isn't it? You've got to have a strategy, and you've got to be able to move with that strategy
yeah,
as
and I
well.
think it might,
You
like,
take things on
in
board.
terms of strategy for any clinic owners, I think you've got to have regular videographer coming in once a month. I'd say is sort of minimum to
Yeah,
really be collecting content. When we say content, but like videos of the dentist maybe doing a podcast, maybe the team giving up like training videos, before visit videos, like I said,
yeah.
aftercare videos. All these are like,
Testimonials.
yeah, if you can, obviously that's just, yeah, other sort of involving the patients as well. If there's like a sort of window they're coming in regularly, then the receptionist can sort of offer it to patients that are really happy with, and you can get that cycle going where you sort of then can brief them beforehand, like, get them before they even start the treatment, saying, well, at the end of it, we do take videos. They sort of
Yeah,
sign up to that, get your team communicating, all that. And yeah, the more you can get this as a sort of, as a regular monthly activity in your practice, it's gonna boost you
oh,
massively
yeah, and you've got all
versus,
that content. Content is king.
yeah. And I'd
Yeah,
say, I think the as a practice owner, you wanna develop a routine, essentially, that, because it's ongoing. This is like important.
mm,
Like, you might be like, oh, I'll do this for like a little bit, and it's gonna sort of, that'll be it. I like tick the box, and then I'll sort of,
yeah,
retire from it. But essentially, it's gonna, the way that it works, it's constantly got to be updated once a month. You know,
yeah,
well, every day really, it's got to be updated. But you've got to have your production line has got to be running continuously forevermore. I mean, you've kind of, that's your sort of background in sort of building your social media,
yeah.
like relentless for like
It's just relentless.
15 years
It
or
is
more, or
what about 15 years. But what you got to imagine is everyone in the space, doesn't matter what industry it is vying for that piece of attention. So if you don't do anything, and a dentist up the road, another one around the corner, another one in the next town is putting out even one piece of content a week, they're ahead of you already
yeah,
because people are seeing that. But if you've got a strategy where obviously the videographer comes in every month or twice a month, 3 times a month, wherever it is, and you have a day or a morning or whatever it is of like creating content around the practice, around what's happening, around the procedures, around the technology, around the updates and what's happening in the industry, testimonials, procedures of how, the Invisalign journey or, composite bonding journey, interesting stuff to potential patients. You're putting all that content out there. People are on their phones all day now, aren't they? And they see that, oh yeah, I'll see, oh yeah, I've always thought about having Invisalign, but never really got round to it. But he seems like a nice chap, and the lady who was in there, she seems like she had a good experience. Technology's the best, it's the newest Cytero scan and all this, and receptionist seems really nice, and they keep coming back over 3 or 4 weeks. They go, right, yeah, right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to book that. They press an advert or something, they walk through the door, or they press a Google search or whatever it is, and they're in the funnel,
yeah,
aren't
yeah.
they?
And then they start to go through that process of actually, becoming a customer. The other thing we've been sort of working on, so in terms of like updating on strategy, we've got a sort of, we're working on sort of AI voice calling. So do you want me to
Yes.
give
So
them?
what we do, our sort of what we do here is we run ads and Google and emails, all that type of stuff. And once you get in the funnel, it depends on what time of day it is and everything. But with AI, so good now for voice and for WhatsApp and things like that. I mean, if you're a patient here, you probably received this already. Is that you can speak to a WhatsApp person. It's AI, but they can book you in for an appointment, they can answer your queries, and we've also got that for voice. But where things are changing so quickly and software's getting updated, things like that, we've actually changed provider. The
Yeah,
reason being was because the backup wasn't as good with the original provider. The new provider has a lot more support, a lot more.
and they look like they're
Um,
going to be, because this is like developing
yeah, and
area.
they're developing their software so much, and
They
it's
look like they're going to be sort of more a market leader, whereas the ones
exactly,
we were with,
yeah,
they were like good initially, but then
yeah.
after
But they sort of didn't,
6 months or so, they weren't
they're not
necessarily
using the latest speech,
looking like
and
they're going to be sort of market leaders.
yeah.
So I think the key is making sure the people you're working with are using the right platforms. Essentially, AI is sort of developing so fast
Oh, so
that
fast.
there are lots of new things coming out. So you want to have a sort of bit of an agile strategy
Yeah,
to, yeah, obviously go with
yeah. An
things,
update.
do
Don't be
things
afraid
that
to
work.
update
But
software.
if something better comes out, you've got
Mm,
to sort of put in the work to adopt it and sort of go through that process.
yeah.
What would you say the real sort of better features with the new software?
Better features is they're using the best voice. You've got a choice of lots of different voice agents, voice assistants, American, English, and you can tailor that, and you can, you can just tailor so much more. And the interface is a lot easier to use.
Yeah,
Um,
they have a sort of customer interface as
yeah,
well.
customer interface where you
Very
can just
like,
say, look, I'm having difficulty with applying this, or how would I do this within my CRM? And you can use the actual bit of software within your CRM now
yeah,
rather than have to use it separately.
so it's got like a
Uh,
plug-in rather
yeah,
than
it's a
sort of,
plug-in within the CRM rather that integrates very well with our whole ecosystem of what we do.
yeah,
Every bit of software that we use is integratable into our CRM. So our WhatsApp, our voice, our SMS, our emails, our website's all integrated into the big ecosystem that we're using. So we can see exactly where everybody comes from and we can apply any changes or anything like that.
and it was really really easy just to click a button and sort it out, wasn't
Well, not really, no. But that's why
it?
it's very, very difficult. A lot of hours go into it, but it's like effort equals reward.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you can see through just applying this new bit of software, you get more sales, you get more interaction. You can listen to the recording, which is really good, I think, as a receptionist, as your TCO or someone who's in charge of different parts of your business. They can actually go into the notes, which are AI generated, and they can actually go and listen to the voicemail. That they can listen to the conversation
yeah,
between the potential patient and the AI. They can look at the transcript. So if your TCO or whoever is putting it on to say the person who's the expert with Invisalign, they can look at that and go, think, yeah, you've got a head start already. You know, sort of like if
like,
they want finance or if they've got the money or if they're local or, just through that conversation, you're
yeah,
ahead of the game. You're not wasting time, half of your appointment trying to find out all this information.
yeah. Because one of the sort of, I don't know, interesting bits, but also the sort of burdens of the type of work we do is it's so complicated in terms of got to take very detailed sort of
Yeah.
history, like what the, et cetera, et cetera. So actually, the AI conversations are getting through that conversation
Yes.
like nice and
Yeah.
quickly, and then presenting that to then the clinical team. So your TCO can look at the history and it can actually
Yeah.
gets all those little points, and then when they come in for the TCO consultation, they can already say, well, oh, you said you want to do this because you're getting married, and then it's already like
Yeah. Yeah.
skip
Yeah. It's
straight
like
to
3 months time. Yeah.
skip straight to the detail on that rather than sort of all this, sort of takes a
Backwards
lot
and
of,
forwards all
yeah,
the
backwards
time
and
with that.
forwards to find out,
And also it helps the patient, doesn't it?
yeah,
Patient
exactly.
sort of knows, like,
Well,
they sort of
well,
roughly know the cost. They sort of
yeah,
know that it's gonna take this much,
yeah.
all the so it's like,
So they know
you
they're the right fit for
yeah,
the clinic before they come in,
yeah, so
and
that
then the
they're
TCO knows what
automatically
their stuff about them. So it's a bit like sort of arriving at a nice hotel or whatever. They know who you are.
yeah,
They know who you are. They know what Oh, you've come from London. Oh, take the
yeah.
bag. Like
"Oh, yeah, I
it's
see you've been with us X amount of times
yeah.
before, and
Well,
this is the room you had before," and
yeah.
it
So
you can give a better service.
yeah.
The
So
patient feels more like they're involved.
yeah. So that's the sort of the real sort of benefit of that AI sort of initial conversation is it sort of makes sure all the right questions are asked, and then it sort of presents that to the clinical team,
Yeah,
and it means the service when they arrive is
so much better.
so much better, which
Yeah,
is
which
obviously
reflects on the patient
just
and the practice, and they're further down the funnel, and they're more likely to take up that procedure
Yeah,
and spend their money.
and essentially what we're trying to do, which is obviously is fit the right patients for the right treatment, so they get the maximum benefit out of it.
Exactly.
So the
Yeah.
more they can sort of, more technology we can use to kind of speed that
Well,
up
you
better.
can imagine, can't you? Someone who thinks, "Well, do I need composite bonding? What is composite bonding? Do I need Invisalign? Do I need veneers? Do I need, implants? What I don't really know. I need to speak to someone." So they get that initial sort of AI conversation, whether it's through WhatsApp or voice, and they sort of get a few answers.
Yeah,
So they're right, yeah, and the good thing about it is instant. So the instance they put in like they want some information, the AI speaks to them
and the good thing is that's going on 24/7. So
24/7.
your practice, obviously out hours we traditionally put, answer phone.
Yeah,
Obviously the receptionist will try and get back to them first thing in the morning, but obviously that's when the first patients are arriving. So you're
yeah,
sort of like just getting through your sort of voicemails through the morning. Whereas you click on something you want to find out some information about the business,
yeah.
it's a basically it's a long conversation as you want to have. Plus at the end of it, you can book an appointment
Yeah,
automatically,
automatically
in,
within the system.
which is a massive thing for us because obviously that's labor saving. If
Yeah,
you can book an appointment with an AI agent, it saves the receptionist a huge amount of time. And plus it just kind of completes the process because if you
yeah,
go on the website, you're like, oh, I found out the information I want, but I could do the online booking, but da da da. Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's another step.
Everyone's
But
got busy
if
lives,
you
haven't
already,
they?
yeah, if you're on the phone, you kind of ask the 5 questions you want, and then they're like, well, do you want to book it on Thursday at 10 a.m.? And you say yes. It just books you in and sends you the
Yeah,
appointment, and then
yeah.
that's it completed, and that's ultimately better
That's it.
service.
Lead has been won. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of data out there. A lot of marketers out there will tell you that first 5 minutes of any lead is the most crucial.
yeah,
Anytime after that, you're going to lose that lead, that potential patient. The actual conversion rate goes down and down and down. So you imagine 12 hours later, when the receptionist comes in and they speak to that person, they rings them and that, and it's like, uh, did I put that form in, or I've gone with someone else now, or not really interested. If you can hit them straight away with the information they need, make them feel trusted and everything else, and give them all that information, get them booked in next Thursday, 10:30 a.m., whatever it is.
yeah,
You're not losing. Your conversion goes up so much more,
yeah,
so much
and
quicker.
it's just yeah, essentially from a customer point of view, like it's just the service
Yeah, you feel
when
like
you
someone's
when
listening
you
to
want
you.
something, it's like you want to sort of get through the sort of, well, can I get it? Is it for me? Like, da, da, and then
Yeah,
and sort of move on to the next step. When you sort of get halfway through it, you don't get what you want. It's actually frustrating. Like
yeah.
you kind of end up then sort of like say moving on because you're like, oh, it's too difficult. I'll do it later and move on. So yeah, those are the sort of strategy updates of
Got
being,
to have it in this day and age, otherwise you're leaving money on the table, I think,
yeah.
as a practice or any business.
But we're gonna have to keep updating that strategy with the
Yeah, you
AI
have to
agent
keep
because
updating
it's
it.
gonna change. Wasn't it?
It's going to change. There's something else moving on from that. Taking that on board as well is that with this strategy and changing that is that we have a direct link to a Meta Manager account.
Yeah,
So every month or every week, or if we have a problem, I can speak to someone at Meta about the ads and that, which you don't normally get. Um, and they can advise you. So every month now, I arrange on a phone call. We go through the ads, we go through the ad spend for the clients, we go through everything. They go, look, the way it's updated now, the way Meta, the way the algorithms just changed. Try doing this. This bring your cost per lead down. You'll get more leads, and it won't cost you as much. And we implement that every month, and it's bringing down the leads. We're still spending the same amount of budget, but we're getting more for our bang,
yeah,
more bang for our buck, sort of
yeah.
thing. So we're getting, I would say, over the last 6 months, I would say we've doubled the amount of leads and potential clients that we've got for the same amount of money.
That's great. Yeah,
That's just through liaising with Meta and speaking to them and getting updated with everything with your account manager on that.
yeah.
It's part of the strategy
Because they
of
want
the
it.
updates.
Because that's all part of the, as I was saying earlier, like the ecosystem of
They
they
want you to spend money, don't they?
they want us
And they
they want
want you
us
to
to spend money,
actually,
but they also they want to connect customers with what they want.
exactly, yeah.
Otherwise,
So they want it to be successful, so you spend more
so
money with them.
yeah. So then once you're sort of at a certain level, you actually get people within Facebook and Meta sort of actually working on your account, which
Yeah,
is kind of key, and then sort of follow those updates.
best
But
practices
they
and
they're never going to tell you exactly what the update is behind the scene, but they sort of
Yeah.
queue you off to make
Yeah.
a
This would
tweet
help.
or this
You
will
know,
help, that will help.
just things like adding the pixel into the back of your website, and conversion pixels, which just naturally putting that in will increase your conversions. You don't even have to do anything.
Yeah,
It would just increase your conversions if you're running ads. It will give you extra patience for not doing anything, but
yeah,
just speaking to Meta.
yeah. So it's kind of having all those, or having a system where you're continuously updating. But yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah,
update your strategy basically. Just keep being open-minded. Put the effort in to reach out to the people's software and that you're using. Keep updated. And just react to what the marketplace is doing, what these platforms are doing, and don't be afraid to change and embrace the change. And communication. Yeah, I think that's the key takeaway from this month's podcast. I think is be flexible, update, it, evolve your strategy,
yeah,
and you'll be successful.
and evolve your practice to match the updates and so
Yeah,
I say a lot of dentists would sort of like to just do a sort of update and like leave it running. But unfortunately, because we live in a sort of
yeah,
complex world we live in nowadays with the online sort of space, etc., that you have to have continuous updates and you
yeah,
have to create
uh,
strategies and sort of routines within your practice to actually just keep moving with that as the updates
yeah.
come through. So I think that's sort of one of the key takeaways from the is update your strategy and then update your practice, and then that will keep you updated with the sort of online marketing space.
Yeah, definitely. It's you've always got to be updating and open and communicating with your providers and that,
Yeah,
and you will reap the benefits, of the ecosystem. It's moving so fast on that, but if you're going to move fast with it, you are going to reap those rewards and get more patience and get a really good return on your investments. It is one big investment, isn't it?
yeah, and have a busy, successful practice, which is ultimately what everyone.
So, hope you've enjoyed this month's podcast with myself and Dr. Murray Pratt. Don't forget, if you like the videos, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you for the next podcast.